What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Humble Threads podcast. As always, I am David Graves.
And I'm Michael Hart. Welcome, everybody, to episode 16. If you enjoy this podcast, be sure to leave us a rating and a written review on your podcast platform of choice. It really helps us out and helps us reach new listeners just like yourselves. So without further ado, I'd love to read a recent review we got. Super awesome. It's a 5-star review on the Apple podcast platform. Started listening while working. Now I wait with anticipation for each new episode. Always new and thought-provoking topics. Keep up the great work, guys. Love the podcast. That is just so awesome. Thank you again for reaching out and submitting that review. It really does mean a lot.
Yes, thanks, guys. And I want to say to bottom of our heart, we see all you guys out there. We're looking at the numbers, so don't think you're not going noticed. You are. Guys, I got some special news here. We've heard you. People talk to us, here and there. Me and Mike. It's not just one of us. A lot of people want our stuff on YouTube. So, starting next week, I will be posting our very first episode on YouTube. So, for people trying to go back and listen, who want to go on YouTube and maybe have it on their TV while they're cleaning, or however else you want to listen to it on YouTube, it will be there. So, on the off weeks of us not dropping our current episode, it will have an old episode on there. Eventually, we will get caught up. It will get caught up to us, but our new episode that we record that you're listening to on your podcast app of choice will be on the next week. So just to clarify, so I'm not confusing you guys, Wednesday on the podcast apps, that's when it will be dropping. The next Wednesday is when it'll be on YouTube, if we ever get caught up. Once that happens, I'll let you know, but who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
So the podcast itself is still the bi-weekly release schedule. Yep. It's just on the off weeks we're going to be posting the old episodes onto YouTube.
Mike got it. That's exactly that. So that's an announcement. Other announcement: the shirt will be dropping soon. Also, who knows? Maybe it'll be next week. If you come in and watch it on YouTube, there might be a little special link in the YouTube bio or a little image of it after we're done talking at the end of the episode. So. Stay tuned, guys. Thank you for everything. All right, Mike. Let's get humble. What's going on in the mind of Mike?
Hey, yeah. I mean, it's been a good 2 weeks since we last got together to record an episode. The 4th of July weekend has come and gone. We were talking about it the week prior. The week of 4th of July, we had an episode drop last time we spoke to you guys. Me and David were at a killer. It was actually it was the 3rd of July, but a 4th of July party at our friend's house. The whole majority of the squad was there. Mm-hmm. There was some flip cup, some beer pong, just some regular shenanigans, and don't forget the talk of the entire party was David's charcuterie board that he brought to this party. Everyone typically brings some beers, some wine coolers, maybe some liquor. You're gonna get a table, maybe some chips and pretzels. No. David thought above and beyond, and he brings in this charcuterie board of chips, of crackers and cheese and meats head. And
the boar's head.
Yeah, it was great. We besides that weekend, we've had mix and matches of just like awful rainy days or just sweaty, like super humid days out here. So I've been trying to get outside best we can. Me and my wife have been enjoying some a little bit of golf at the driving range. She recently got into golfing, and she's actually which is crazy. I have probably like 10 years of bad habits of golfing, and she's got maybe a year of like an hour of lesson with my dad, and she's already swinging better than me. Her balls go way straighter than mine do, and the only thing that she needs to learn that she's working on is getting a little more power in that swing. Mm-hmm. But besides that, something really, really fun, something that I teased a couple episodes back, a while back actually, shortly after David ran a little one-shot D&D campaign for us. It was like a Star Wars version of like a 5th edition D&D. We had to go try to save baby Rey. After that, we talked a little bit about it on the podcast, and I said, I would love to create my own campaign and be the DM and try to create a world. And we've done just that. I created this world that I'm calling copyrights. It's called Treasure More. It's been really awesome so far. David is a character in the game. We also have a couple other friends playing with us, and just would love to get a quick few words from you, David. Like, what's been like the experience so far? Because this is my first time DMing ever. I'm sure I've made plenty of mistakes already, but I'm just trying to create a good narrative. What do you think?
For me, I really enjoy it, especially for the simple fact, like, I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons for, I think it might be 3 years now with the group that I started. A lot of coworkers, my boss was a part of it. She's still in there. She doesn't work at the same place anymore, neither do I. But especially having the experience of DMing, you can never DM wrong. It's your game. So, like, we oblige by your rules. But I'm also there. I know a good bit about Dungeons & Dragons, so I help you out and everything when you need help. But I personally enjoy it because there's twists and turns. We're fighting big monsters. One cool thing is we level up quicker in this instead of, like, some, Dungeons & Dragons games. It might take you a little bit longer to level up because of XP or plot points or et cetera, et cetera. But once we're done something, we go straight into the next thing. I love it all. It's too funny. Playing with Bill's it gets crazy sometimes because Mike's at a point where he might be ending it. I'm trying to end it and go to bed, and then Billy's like, "I just don't hand this to the guy." And then we're in there for like another half hour or something. But it just makes for even funnier content. But I enjoy it for when I get to play and I get to have time to play. But it's a break from playing video games all the time and something else. It just gives you gets you your imagination gears moving to try and think of some stuff. But I enjoy it a lot, and Mike does a great job. So, Mike,
appreciate it.
Coming in and playing.
It's so fun seeing you and our buddy Billy play because, like, you have experience. You kind of understand. You kind of know, like, if the DM mentions something specifically over in that corner, you probably should either go look at it or stay away from it, depending on how you feel. Yep. And, like, our buddy Billy, who's got, doesn't have much, experience in playing D&D, but he's played, Skyrim. He's played lots of other video games. He's just there to he just wants to run in and pummel and, like, He's killing things left and right that don't have to be killed, but he's like, "What? Maybe that was supposed to do that."
He's lawful good. No way.
Yeah, I was like, you're not. There's no way you're lawful good. No. I think we had to change him up a little bit. I think I made him like chaotic good or that something because like he means well, but his character just kind of does what it's feeling like in that moment, which is very narratively sound for the character he plays.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, so that's been kind of me in a nutshell lately, just kind of kicking it. But what's good, man? What's good in the world of Graves?
Man, guys, this first part, we're going to be taking up a big chunk. I usually know it's the second part, but man, guys, do I got news. A little bit of a blessing in disguise. A lot of things are like being brought to me as I'm getting older. Everyone's, me and my girlfriend had a conversation downstairs, and I say, you mature you grow up in certain situations you're put in. If you grow up in the ghetto and you're dealing drugs and everything else like that, you might have to grow up a little differently than a person who's rich and gets to inherit their father's company and everything. We had a long conversation about some stuff, but I'll get right into it, guys. At my job, our whole marketing team got laid off. It was crazy. So pretty much we had to go in yesterday. I went in from 12 to 5. I'm usually 8 to 1 because I'm part-time. You guys, if you're new and you're listening to me just now and you're joining, welcome. But I've been pushing to get full-time. I've been pushing to, have a career and a salary and everything like that to support my family and myself. So I can spend more time with my girlfriend, et cetera, but we go in 12 to 5, we're working. And there's a meeting at 2:30, but it was with 2 other marketing team people. We thought it was for all of us. So me, our web developer, and our lead designer go into the meeting and walked in on it by accident. These people looked mortified. They looked at us like they saw a ghost, and I was like, are we in the wrong meeting? Like, oh, this is a sales something meeting. And I said, all right. So we left. And then we were sitting there. We didn't really work from that time until we got to 3 o'clock because we were sitting there like, why does it feel so weird? Like, this atmosphere just feels weird. Like, why did they look at us like that? We get into the other meeting. We think it's for everybody. The new head of the marketing is there. The boss, our boss is pretty much there. I guess she's considered like our boss. They're both our bosses, but there's different levels. And we have an HR girl there. There's only 3 chairs. There's 5 of us. So immediately I was like, this doesn't seem good. Like something's going on. So we sit down. The lady or the people who bought, I'm not going to mention any company's names or anything else like that, but the company that bought us, she's a part of that company. The lady who's our boss is a part of that company. So she was kind of just mouthing off and was talking in circles, kind of leading us astray. And I'm pretty good at reading people's emotions and reading people's facial expressions. I look over at my lead designer. She's kind of like stern face, and I'm like, okay. I look over to our web developer who's been there for 6 years, guys. 6 years. She looks at the boss who works at my job, sighs, and then the boss kind of gives her like the tight lip, like, yeah, and shaking her head. And I said, yep, we're getting laid off. All right, cool. So eventually the lady wraps up her long speech for no reason. She was like, we're focusing more on sales, blah, 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 blah. We're going to be letting you guys go effective immediately. We'll be outsourcing for your jobs. So we're going to go with the agency or something like that, which they'll be spending more than just keeping us in-house, which is whatever. So we had to sign some papers. You know, if you guys have ever got laid off, if you ever have to get fired from a job, they escort you out the place pretty much. They lock you out of your computer. You're not allowed to touch your computer. Anything you have in there, they keep, etc., etc. So that officially stops. We go upstairs, we pack our stuff, we leave. I get to go out to drinks with the other two people. You know, we have a long conversation. Me and the lead designer have been butting heads a lot. I found out a lot of information about her. I won't divulge it on the podcast, but her at-home life isn't the best right now. She's dealing with some stuff with her significant other, and it was a long thing. And I told her about my situation, but we never had that time to talk to each other and get that connection to try and understand what was going on. It was just a lot of animosity and ego in there. So we eventually figured that out. And I got to get to know them on a more personal level. We found out that the other two might be able to still stay at my job, but they'll have to be put in other roles because the marketing team's done. So we'll see what happens with that. But, you know, I was talking to Mike about it the other day, and when I left, like, I was not sad. I was pretty ecstatic. I was happy. I was excited because I said I wanted to leave, and this kind of forced my hand, but they're going to be paying us until July 30th. So that's cool, and we can also apply for unemployment, but I'll be doing another job. But one good thing is I have a lot of friends who are graphic designers, and I will be in touch with them. A lot of them are having jobs that are coming up now that I'm going to apply for that they can get me in there for. And maybe I'll be utilized more than, you know, being at that place. But just having that weight off my shoulders and being able to realize, like, it wasn't just me, it was something bigger, and it wasn't me being a terrible artist or anything else like that. Like, that's literally what was happening. I was talking to Ashley about it last night. Like, it just felt like punch after punch after punch. Like, you're not getting this job, rejected. Jab. You're not good enough to be full-time. Jab. Like, it just kept going and going. Us arguing about money. Jab. So, like, it kind of brought me down. I wasn't designing as much. I didn't have any time to do, like, free, fun designs that I wanted to do. But today, I did some designs. I got up at, 9 o'clock, did some designs. I showed Mike. Like, I actually felt happy about myself. I felt like a designer again. So, I'm excited for what's to come. It sucks that it happened. I'm glad that it happened so I can get away from them. But, that's kind of what happened. Mike, if you want to chime in on any of it before I go into anything else,
Yeah, man. Like, look, it's never fun to get let go from any job, whether it's because you've done something wrong or it's just because they can't afford to have you, right? I've seen it happen, at the job I work for, not in my department, but I've seen other departments get kind of liquidated in that way. Mm-hmm. Locked out of stuff, had to be walked out, and all of this. So, it is rough, right? But, there's something to be said about when a door closes, another one tends to open. And I genuinely believe that with everything that you and I have talked about over the last, while about your creative side and how much you enjoy designing, and you're okay doing like the kind of the corporate, corporate design of things that are more, not necessarily, it's more like formatting in a way. You're not really creatively doing anything. And, we both it's obvious that you enjoy really creatively expressing yourself with your design and actually being the artist that I know you are. And so whereas, yes, this puts you in a weird, rough financial position, even though you're getting payment out to the end of the month, pretty much. It puts your back up against the wall is what it does. Now it's like, all right, the ball's in your court. Right. And, I think, there's this thing going around TikTok right now where it's like the scene from the Night of the Museum. And it's like, And the guy's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow or whatever. And then the Robin Williams character is like, that's the adventure, right? Like that's the best part. Like explore life, And I think it's a very exciting time for David Graves. I'm looking so forward to seeing what he's coming out. Right. He was already saying that he was doing some cool designing stuff. Him and our buddy Kev have started kind of doing this cool collective idea that maybe we'll see the light of day at some point. Would love to see it somewhere. But more to come on that, man. But what else is good?
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. If you guys want, you can follow me at, I think it's King_Graves13 on Instagram. You can see some stuff on there. I'll be posting a lot more design stuff on there. But yeah, and getting to that, I just, I've just been happier, and me and my girlfriend had a conversation, and it's always good to have conversations when, big things happen, small things happen, but to understand everyone's side. Like, she's a person that works in the medical field. I am a creative. So we're on so like complete opposite ends of the spectrum, and it was me explaining certain things to her explaining certain things to me, her seeing certain things that I portray as, but I'm not trying to portray as that. That's not what I mean. So, we went back and forth, and it's always good to have those conversations. And, the main thing that I always say when you're in the relationship, guys, is whether you're getting laid off, whatever, cheated, whatever you did, and you guys are actually trying to work through whatever you guys got to work through, it's your business, but make sure you approach each other with a level head. Do not belittle someone. Do not think you're higher than someone. Don't think you're lower than someone. You need to come at the exact respective field, because if you start jabbing people saying like, oh, you're lazy, or you always do this, you always do that, you're going to turn it into an argument, and they're going to have to fight back. It's a defense mechanism. No one ever sits there and just takes it for long. It might happen a couple arguments, but they will come back. But that was pretty good. We're growing as a couple. At the end of the day, we talk about it. It's just like a team. We talk about it. All right, bet. What do we got to do to move forward? This is what we're going to do to move forward, and we're going to do what we got to do. Fortunate enough to have a brother-in-law. I call him my brother-in-law, my man Mark. His job. I'm working with him. It's 18 an hour, 3 to 11. So I get to, reimburse myself from all the money I've been spending to try and keep up and keep this job. But, that was pretty fun. Also, the 3rd of July party, just like Mike said, what a banger. It's been a while since, I've got a little loose and had a couple drinks with my friends, and, just sitting around, palling around, joking around, and seeing where things lead. It's been a while, especially since we've been cooped up for a year. It's been nice just to go to like a good old fashioned house party, just like the college days. But I loved it. It was really fun. Me and Mike had a good time. Everyone had a good time. My charcuterie tray, yes, it was amazing. But the boar's head, I went to John and said, let me grab some boar's head. You know what I'm saying? You get a little cheese, and they had some like multi-grain vegetable crackers or something. I said, that I got to get that. I got it. It was amazing. But, I'm in good spirits, guys. Do not, I don't want to hear the David. I'm so sorry. You don't got to be sorry. I wanted to get up out of that place. If anything, send your prayers up. I hope David makes it to the next step, and, he's there for his girlfriend and everything else he needs to do, and everything falls into place. But that has been me. So that's what's going on, guys.
Love it. That positive outlook, man. Like, that's it. Mm-hmm. Like, that's like, if people just really understood that, like, most of the keys to success are just around having a positive outlook, having the ability to say, you know what, this situation is not inherently good or bad. It is exactly how I choose it to be. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be just a step in the direction towards the journey that you are taking. And I think that's awesome. But with all that being said, gang, we're going to hit a quick ad break, and we will be right back with our main topics for the day.
Ooh. Not gonna lie, it's pretty hot outside, so my mouth has been dry for a while.
Dude, I've got 2 water bottles in here today. Like, I'm just, it has been very warm.
And I decided to take Coda for a walk today, and we got caught in the rain.
Oh, yeah?
When it was like torrential downpouring, and I had to come in, and I was just soaked. And like, I went to go stand under the tree, and she's like trying to hide under my butt and be like, not get hit by the rain. I'm like, bro, if you don't get up under me, we gotta go.
Too funny.
All right. Do I bring us back in, or you?
You can bring us in, and then just be like, you could be like, speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, Mike, you've got something cool to share or something.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
I'll bring us back in. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. Speaking of Dungeons and Dragons campaigns and all of the lot, Mike has something exciting to talk to us about, and I'm really excited to hear about it. He was talking to me a little bit about it during the week, but now we're fully diving in. Mike, give it to me.
Awesome. Yeah. So, one of my favorite kind of, classic nerdy things I love to do, other than, of course, the pinnacle Dungeons and Dragons, is play the card game, Magic the Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out literally like a week or two ago, so I am very late to this, but I found out that on July 23rd, the game Magic the Gathering is doing a crossover with Dungeons and Dragons. Here's a quote directly from the magic.wizards.com Magic the Gathering website. It says, everything you love from Dungeons and Dragons meets magic in the Forgotten Realms. Play cards featuring fan favorite characters and battle with iconic monsters like beholders, mimics, and mind flayers, and of course legendary dragons. And as soon as I read that, I was like, yo, bet I need this. Needs to be in my life. We're playing Dungeons and Dragons right now. How more topical is this? Yes, I'm just trying to convince myself so that I can be okay spending a whole bunch of money on a giant booster box so I can, because I really just think I want one of every single card, like just for the principle of it.
Oh yeah.
Because for me personally, there's been so many different expansions within the Magic the Gathering world. Mm-hmm. There's been like Vikings, there's been all sorts of stuff. And but this one specifically, since I just have such like a sweet spot in my heart for D&D, that it's like, wow, now I have two games, now I have this other game that's going to embody like a lot of things that I love about D&D into the card game. But how does it actually work in a card game? Because for those of you who know a little bit about Magic the Gathering or don't, some people think it's like the hardest game to ever learn, and most people just never try. It's very, very simple. It's kind of like the OG Pokemon or the OG Yu-Gi-Oh, or that style, or Hearthstone might be the closest analog to it. But it's a game where you're going to put monsters down. You're going to pay a cost to put a card down that's going to do something. You're trying to attack the other player and take their health down. And but what's cool about this expansion is there's a type of cards called Planeswalkers. And they're just like a special character card you can put down, and they can do specific things, but they're going to have a new ability on those Planeswalker cards, which allow you to venture into dungeons, introducing a new game mechanic where there will actually be a dungeon card that you will then progress through as that Planeswalker mid-game. So basically, instead of taking that Planeswalker and using it, one of its other abilities, you're going to venture into a dungeon, and depending on how far you go into the dungeon, you're going to have to do certain things. And if you can get all the way to the end, there's going to be some kind of reward that's going to benefit you, the player, in the game. So you're going to go and then be able to reattack your enemies with whatever benefits you've acquired. It's super cool. That might have sounded like a whole bunch of gibberish to anyone who has no idea what Magic the Gathering is, but it's a really, really great card game. And if you're into more thought-provoking games that make you create a space while you play it, it's a great way to get involved. And also this would be a really awesome way to dabble with D&D, because it's not committing to a whole campaign or a bunch of other people. But yeah, like the booster boxes, I've been looking at them. They're like $140 for 540 cards. It's 36 15 card packs.
It's typical.
And yeah, very typical Pokemon for a typical booster. Yeah. Right. So it's nothing crazy, but I've been looking at like some spoilers of like what cards are coming in the decks, and they look incredible.
So what I've heard in this whole conversation, Mike, is I've been trying to get you to open some Pokemon cards, but it sounds like we're gonna be opening some Magic cards. That's what I'm hearing right now, guys.
I'm pretty damn certain that I'm going to get one of these, because and it gets better. So actually, I have a bunch of friends that I used to work at a local theater where I used to do electrician's work. Mm-hmm. And on lunch, the whole crew, the whole tech staff would go out and do Magic the Gathering tournaments and like games out on the lunch tables. And so it's just been a close-knit group that once in a while they'll do like a big drafting booster box crack like Gambit, where you come there, they split the booster box across everybody. You open the cards, you pass them along, you create your deck on the spot, and then you do a battle out bracket system to the winner, and then the winner gets a prize of some kind. And they just sent me recently an invite to join them on the 28th of August, and I believe that's the date. And so they're thinking that they might want to use this new expansion of D&D as the box that they want to crack for this drafting event. But I'm thinking, I was like, you know what? I just need, because I'm already going to that, and that's in the town where we live in, so it's not too far away. But I'm gonna buy my own booster box. Like, I'm just gonna do it. Like, and then we're gonna crack them open and maybe make some content. But it's gonna be sick. 36 packs, 540 cards, 15 cards a pack.
I got an idea, because it's not coming out for a while, and we've been talking about, we're gonna be putting some more stuff on YouTube. We'll get into my topic after that, but Mike might still have some more stuff. But Mike, here's the idea.
Okay.
We set up our Discords.
Okay.
And we film us opening the packs, and we can see what we get. We can put that on YouTube for you guys. I know a lot of people like watching pack openings. I've been hearing a lot of things about, when you guys going to be dropping videos, when you're going to be doing this, when you're going to be making content on that. Here you go. Me and Mike can do that. We'll see what we get. I'm personally excited because I love dragons. If anyone knows me since I was a child, I've loved dragons. If I could get like a legendary, cool, like dragon, a holographic card or something, oh my god, that would be sick. That would be sick.
They're there. They have them. They have all of the dragons.
Oh, boy. It's on.
I mean, I don't know if you have a favorite. My favorite is the blue dragon, which actually if you remember, made a quick appearance in the last session of the game that we played. But
I think I like the ancient, like, frost dragon, like the ancient ice dragons. Like, I think the Critical Role had one of them. They went in like a dungeon or something and came down, and it was like frost, and they were like, this is too big for like an average monster or animal.
Yeah.
And this dragon comes out talking, and he's like, and the guy fell on a mound of gold, and I was like, yo, that's not, like, just the way Matt described it, like ice, it just sounded so cool. So if I get like a frost dragon, oh man, it's on. I'm casing it. We're doing it, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I don't know, like, I would even be down to do our own draft. Like, I'd buy the box, and we could buy in, and then we could all make decks and stuff. I don't know. It'd be cool. I'm super about it. But enough of my first topic, David. You have something that's good. That is something we are both looking forward to talk about. Let's have it, guys.
If you're a nerd, you're happy to be a nerd right now. The conventions are opening back up. I heard New York Comic Con is opening back up. We are going. There's numerous other ones. Please check your areas. Things are opening back up. Everyone's getting pretty much vaccinated, so we're getting a little back to normalcy. I don't know if San Diego Comic-Con is opening back up. It might be open by the time you listen to this. Who knows? Because they're always releasing new information. But guys, there's going to be little nuggets here and there of surprises with this podcast today, and I hope you enjoy it. But we will be going to Too Many Games. I believe it is October 8th. At the Philadelphia Convention Center. I'm pretty sure.
It's a 3-day event.
3-day event. We will be there Saturday. So if you are a fan and you see me and Mike, just come up, be friendly, say, hey guys, I really like Humble Threads podcast. I would really like to take a picture, etc., etc. We'd be happy to sign something, whatever you want us to do, have a little conversation, whatever you guys want to have happen. And on top of that, we will be filming us at the convention. So we'll be showing stuff. Probably just a convention floor. I might have like a little thing on my own of like David's Collector, some buy everything Marvel, buy everything Power Rangers. Who knows what it'll be, but I'm very excited that conventions are opening back up. I have never been to a comic book convention. Just being in an area where everyone loves one thing, and like just the nerd culture is also so welcoming. No matter whether you're a cosplayer, you're collecting comics, action figures, cards, etc., you're welcomed. But guys, I cannot wait for that. I watched some videos on it. There's a lot of like retro games and like comics that are slabs. If you don't know what a slab is, it's when like a comic is graded. So you could get like a #1 Spider-Man for however much. I'm going to have to bring a substantial amount of money. But we will be filming it.
Saving.
Yeah, we'll be filming it. Once I get a little extra money, I'm going to get us a GoPro. Who knows? Maybe we'll have getting two different angles of whatever's happening. But we will be good to go. Mike, are you excited about conventions, man? Have you ever been to a convention? Please let me know.
Well, I've been to the one that we're going to go to. It was there a couple of years ago. And what's funny is the reason I was there is because that year, it was the northeastern mid-Atlantic, no, northeastern mid-Atlantic regional yo-yo competition that was being held at this video game convention, which was two choice. It was perfect. And so like, but I mean, obviously I was there for video games, but like they also had the championship there. So like I got to go see that, got to go watch some of my favorite throwers in the local area playing. I did not compete at the time. I was not there for that. I was there to spectate, but I don't know, maybe if another comp came by, like I would consider it. I'm not much of a competition yo-yoer, but
we're doing it. I'm filming it. We're doing it. Let's
but
go.
It would be cool. I do lots of like, my own yo-yo stuff over at MikeHart.yoyo on Instagram. But yo, man, conventions, yes. I've never been to like the big ones, like the Comic-Con, like the New York Comic-Cons, or like or whatever, or what's it, PAX or whatever,
PAX, New York Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con,
Yeah, never actually been to any of those, but the Too Many Games ones that's coming up in October, it's a great time. They do a really great job, and I'm super excited to go there, like with you, with a bunch of friends, and just experience it, because I don't know. I feel like it's going to be much better this time around when we go.
And guys, once again, like I said, it'll be on YouTube. We will be ironing out the YouTube. Probably by the time you guys listen to this, we will have it in the show notes. I'm guessing, if you had to guess, if you're listening to this sometime this week, it'll be the Humble Threads podcast. Probably the Humble Threads, whatever it'll be, somewhere around there. But it'll be in the description. But staying in the realm of, the nerdy topics and nerdy things, Mike.
Yo.
Your next topic. Give it to me.
Yeah, man. So, like, as we all have existed over the last year, we've all, taken to our streaming platforms, whether it's, the Hulus, the Disney Pluses, or the Netflixes, or whatever. But, so we're always been looking for something to watch. And, if you were in the gaming, zeitgeist over the last year, you know what the game Among Us is. And, and if you don't, it's a game where you load into a spaceship, and you're a little guy, and you're a little astronaut, and you have to go complete tasks. All while one of you is a imposter who's going to try to deceive the whole group and kill them. Mm-hmm. And once around, you can guess who the imposter might be, and if that person gets voted, they get kicked off the spaceship, whether they are the imposter or not. But anyway, so like that's the game that took over the last the year with quarantine. And it got me like in that mindset, right? So we're looking through Netflix the other night, and I realized that they've put on ABC's The Mole, which was a show aired on ABC back in January of 2001 is when it first got in there. Just for reference, for everyone listening, when in 2001, I was 11 years old. I was like obsessed with like James Bond. I was playing GoldenEye on my N64 that had came out a couple years prior, 97, I believe. And so I was just like in that like Agent Prime mode, and I remember watching The Mole with like my dad, thinking like trying to like figure it out who it was. And although I don't remember like any of it, like I don't remember who the mole is anymore. I don't remember any of that. But while I'm watching through the season, and I'm actually on the final episode, I'll be watching that tonight with my wife. And that since having lived through 2020 and played Among Us, that deception, those lies, like dealing with friends and finding out they're just absolutely lying to you, and you thought you could trust them, and like getting to experience that through like early 2000s reality TV, like and because back then things were raw, like they were things that they got away with or saying in those shows that for sure don't hold up and are not PC anymore, so be warned. But there are some things in that show that it's wild how these people treat each other when they're trying to deceive each other on purpose, because they're trying to act like they're the mole so someone else gets voted away, because they're all in this for money, right? But I don't know. My question to you, David, is, would you ever be on a show like this? Like, do you think you could do it? Do you think you could be on a show like this? And if you could, would you want to be the mole, or would you want to be a contestant?
I would most definitely be on a show like this, because I'm good at reading situations. I'm good at reading people. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm probably 80% sure I know something. most of the time. So like if someone's, a fake person or whatever else like that, I'm gonna sit there and be like, yeah, he's pretty fake, Bring it back to our other episode when, the PJs thing, I literally sat down, described the whole situation that was going to happen, and it happened. But I would love to get on there because I like watching people when they lie. You get to see their little ticks. You get to see what they're doing. Referencing back to Among Us, like our good friend Billy, he has a tick where he says, "What do you mean?" And that's exactly how you know he's lying. Like if I'm like, Billy, you didn't even go there. He'd be like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Nah, bro, it's over. You're out of here. I knew it was you." But I would most definitely want to be on one of these shows. I think they should bring it back. That'd be funny. I think that would be like, especially with all the hype of these games like that, they should bring it back.
Rumor has it they might be filming an episode out in Australia right now. I was seeing some buzz about that when I was doing some research about the show. But yeah, dude, like there's just being on a show where that like one of the contestants from day one is a mole, that they are the secret the double agent working against you. But you still have to work with these people to get through the challenges, to make money, to build the pot. And it's like, so like these alliances are getting built in this show. And I don't know, it's been crazy watching this first episode. I mean, again, there are some things that are questionable that get said by some of the characters that I certainly don't agree with. But regardless, the principle of the show is great. Like this needs to happen again. This needs to be brought back, specifically after having Among Us be a thing. I would love to see a show that is just life, like real life Among Us, but instead of like obviously killing, but like having someone like tag you. Or something.
I'll say, if you guys want to see something that's close to that, not a sponsor nor a friend of the show, but would love to. If you guys go on Smosh, if you guys have ever seen Smosh Pit on YouTube or whatever, they did a real life Among Us.
Sick.
So they have a couple episodes on there of like they have to do tasks and stuff, and then like one person walks by and kills them, and it's crazy. But if you go on YouTube and type in "real life Among Us," it should pop up. It should be the number one thing. But I loved watching that, and it was pretty funny, so it would work.
Dude, absolutely. But I mean, obviously, The Mole is a great show, and I highly recommend anybody go check it out. Netflix, hit us up for a sponsor if you're looking to hang. But the far superior show that is obviously going on right now. It's something that so hold on before we really so the show is Loki. Everybody, the show is Loki. We talked a little bit about it when it first came out. But I gotta own up to something, and I did something I shouldn't have done. And I did it for you. I did it for you, the listener. I did it for all of you. So, this is the cross you bear. But, so when I watch a show, right, when I watch any show, like prime television show, specifically with my wife, right, there's this unspoken rule that you do not watch the new episode without the other. It's called like Netflix cheating or something, right? Like, and so like you're not supposed to do that. Oh, no. And so like no. So I jumped on Discord earlier today during one of my breaks at work, and David's on, our buddy Kev's on, and our buddy Billy's on, and they both are like, "Did you watch Loki?" And I'm like, "No, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday. I'm at work." Like, "No, I haven't watched Loki." And so like, and they're like, "Well, have you taken lunch yet?" And I was like, "No." And I was like, "All right, maybe I'll watch it. Like, I'll just take my lunch now or something." And in my head, I'm like, you know what? Because we were gonna start the podcast almost as soon as I was done work, and I was like, I'm not gonna have time to watch it after work. My wife hasn't seen it yet. I can do it. I can watch it real quick in my lunch break, and I'll just apologize, and it'll be all right. We're married. It's good. So I watched. Hold on. First of all, I watched it. Mm-hmm. I did watch it. I committed the sin. I watched the show. Right. Amazing show, and we'll dive into that. But I got to fess up to this right now. But as soon as I watched it, I felt so much guilt that I'd just done something that I knew I shouldn't have done, because this was a show that me and my wife watched, right? And so I immediately texted my wife, and I was like, I have a confession to make. And I said, I have done something that is inexcusable, and I am sorry. But because I needed to be able to talk about it for the podcast today, I went ahead and watched the finale episode of Loki. I'm sorry. And then she just sent me back. She's like, "How dare you? Like, so rude." And all I could do was send back 2 gifts. I sent a picture of Ron Burgundy. "I'm in a glass case of emotion," and then beneath it was just the dog from Doug, or from Up, Doug, with the cone of whatever. Mm-hmm. and just being like, I'm sorry. And you know, I mean, obviously it's okay. My wife came home, you know, she hugged me and everything's fine. But you know, it's just something that like
you better than me.
I don't know if anyone out there who, in a relationship, you know, if there's a show you guys watch, you just can't. You can't watch them without each other.
I would have been like,
I thought about it, but I felt so guilty. I just had to own up to it immediately. I was like so excited about it, but I was like, I can't wait for you to watch. I'll watch it again with you. I'm sorry, you know, but it's so good.
I would have lied. I would have been like, yeah, I didn't see it. We'll watch it when you get home. And then like been surprised, like, oh crap, did you see that? See, come on, like
I don't know, but
you wouldn't have survived on the show, The Mole. I don't know, man.
It's a good story, but anyway, dive in. So please proceed with the stage. The mic is yours, Mr. Graves.
Guys, I've been saying it all week. Marvel can sell you your couch with it in your living room. I didn't care about. I was like, when they announced these shows, like no one cares about WandaVision. No one cares about Wanda. Like no one wants to see that show. No one wants to see the show about Loki, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. No one wants to see this. All phenomenal shows. Loki, phenomenal show. Spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead. Please go watch the show if you have not watched the show, and or you can skip over this. You're more than welcome. But we're about to dive headfirst in here.
Yeah.
Marvel finally did the thing. They didn't do the whole Mephisto thing from WandaVision. Oh, we thought it was Mephisto, but it was actually Agatha, blah, blah, blah. They finally showed Kang the Conqueror. And these guys, they're so good at the interviews. Talk about being an imposter. They interviewed the guy who plays Kang the Conqueror. I completely forget his name. He's from Lovecraft Country. Amazing actor. But he said, oh, yeah, I didn't even know they were filming the show. I didn't even know that, you know, I just got cast. So there's no way there's no way I'm in the show. Blah, 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 blah. Within the first 2 minutes, he pops up in the show. And I was like, they did the thing. They're finally paying off their storylines that they were like hinting at, things that they were, you know, doing and whatever else like that. But they showed them the ideology in the show and like just thinking about certain things about what the guy was saying. They get to the Citadel. If you guys have watched the whole thing, they get to the Citadel. They're talking to him. He's explaining certain things. He knows all. He's seen all to a certain point. And he pretty much offered Loki and Sylvie the opportunity for them to take his place and be in control of certain things. But he said, if you don't and you kill me, someone will rise up and it'll be a variant of me and he will take over. And it could be worse. And he kind of gave them the ultimatum of, you guys can be the good/bad guy, because he kind of is a bad guy, or you can let someone else rise up and take my spot. And of course, Loki and, I said her name, Sylvie are sitting there debating about it. She wants her revenge. She could care less about what's going to happen. She wants to kill him. And she does. Now, guys, giving you a little bit of nerd comic book backstory. Kang the Conqueror is Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four's great grandson. He's incredibly smart. He doesn't have superpowers, but he calls it the 31st century. He comes from an era where his armor, all of his stuff has certain abilities in it and everything else like that. And he's super smart, just like Mr. Fantastic. So that's a lot of the things he comes from. But there's different versions of him. The version of him that we got was more of the calm, a little less, menacing and threatening Conqueror or whoever, or Kang. The guy that we're about to get is going to be Kang the Conqueror, the super villain. When Loki gets back to the TVA and he's talking to Mobius, and Mobius doesn't recognize who he is, he comes back in the timeline of Kang the Conqueror is already in charge. Like, now they know it's Kang, it's him. He's trying to figure out what he's going to do. There's so many questions. I'm going to get to them a little later on, but Mike, please give me your thoughts. If you have any questions, let me answer them, because it'll probably tie into a bunch of stuff that I have.
Well, so, it's really interesting, right? Because like it creates this infinite verse, you know what I mean? Because of what he's saying, the Kang that we meet says, I found this one timeline where basically things are okay. Like, things go well. And I've just been maintaining it, basically by creating this TVA. and he gives the Lokis the opportunity to say, "Hey, you can just have it, right? You can you can be the rulers. I'll let you have it, but just here's a beautiful timeline if you want that." And they just, obviously they decided that, they wanted their own free will. They didn't want to live in a lie or whatever. But it breaks your mind a little bit, because if they go, like, when he gets pushed back through the little window, back to the TVA, but obviously in a different timeline where the Kang the Conqueror evil villain is the ruler. You kind of realize that like how many universes are there? Like how many other Lokis are there? And could the other Lokis make a reappearance?
I do have an answer to that. So
okay.
Guys, we'll be going back and forth. So in Marvel, there's different universes. I don't know if they classify the MCU universe as 616. That's the through line of all Marvel comics. Like, those are the main characters. There's different universes where there are the same characters, but they're different. So you might have like a woman Thor, you might have like a frog Thor, etc., 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 like we saw in The Thing. But
right.
There's now what you saw was the whole branch timelines of everything exceeding and exploding and such like that. But to also tag on to your question, what you just said, is there different Lokis, is there different things? The biggest rumor right now, because we have not seen the Spider-Man trailer, and I need to see the Spider-Man trailer, is Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield going to be in this movie? Because if so, that means the branch timeline is where they've lived at. Because we already know Dr. Octopus from Tobey Maguire's movie is going to be in this new Spider-Man movie. So it's like this whole branch.
Really? Yeah. Like the original?
Yep. He said it. He was like, I don't care. I've already filmed my scenes. Yes, I'm going to be in this movie. So it's saying something where it's like, when these branch timelines happened, that's when those movies started. So this has always been the true story, the true through line, but now we have these other things. So I'm like, with that, like, are you just going to say the X-Men were somewhere else and now we're bringing them here? And it's like, so what's going to happen? But that's the answer, one of the questions, into make your mind explode a little more, because we don't know what's going to happen until Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Loki season 2. I don't know, but it's been confirmed they are making a season 2 of Loki. So,
is it a Spider-Man movie or another TV show?
It's a movie. It's the No Way Home.
And it's still what's his face? What's that?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
the original Dr. Octopus.
No, but just to jump back a few steps, Kang in Loki, the actor's name is Jonathan Majors.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Amazing. Like, I was for a second, like, I almost thought, like, no, they did not just put Donald Glover in the MCU.
Yeah.
But
he is in the MCU.
But then obviously it got much closer, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's the guy from Lovecraft. That's Jonathan Majors. But like, yeah, you're right. But like, I don't know. Like, it's very. I loved the character, like how he personified the character of Kang in that reality. And it makes me exceptionally excited to see him in Loki 2, I guess, where the next season of Loki happens, where we get to experience the villain Kang, like this absolute malevolent Kang versus the previously seemingly docile version. So that'll be very nice to see that contrast, for sure.
Also, like,